The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic. Last night, the mid-season finale of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. aired, and something happened that I thought a lot of people may not know or understand, so I thought it'd be a good time to make a video explaining the ending of this mid-season finale. So, there's a lot of spoilers. This is basically going to cover the whole mid-season finale and tell you what happened. So if you haven't seen it yet, go do that. So, there's been a mystery over the past season and a half as to who Skye is. And it was revealed last night that Skye's real name is Daisy, and her father is a scientist by the name of Cal. Now this lines up with a Cal and Daisy from the comic books, so now we can assume who they're going to become, at least who Skye is going to become. Or should I say Daisy? That'll be confusing. Her name is Daisy Johnson, and in the comic book she is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who's highly trained, highly dangerous, and she has an ability to create seismic shock waves, basically. So she has the code name Quake. So she has a couple notable moments. One of these is being able to knock out Magneto. So she's able to create a very precise shockwave right in his head and kind of knock him out. And she also once stopped a rampaging Wolverine by exploding his heart right inside his chest, which he's somehow able to recuperate from. Her father in the comic books is a scientist named Calvin Zabo, and he's most notably known as a villain known as Hyde or Mr. Hyde, because he kind of drinks this chemical mixture and becomes this kind of big hulking monster, similar to Jekyll and Hyde, which is where they get the name Mr. Hyde from. So he's kind of a big menacing creature. I don't know if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to go this route, but it might make sense if Cal needed to get revenge or he was angry about something, he would resort to any means necessary, including a mixture that maybe gave him some supernatural abilities. So we might see that happen. Daisy's mother in the comic books was a prostitute who Hyde had a relationship with, and since he kind of drank all these chemicals, that is what passed on to Daisy and gave her some ability. So neither of them were Inhumans, but in the TV show, they're using the concept of the crystals and the Terrigen Mists, which creates abilities. So let me back up. There is a movie in 2019 called The Inhumans, and The Inhumans is basically about an alien race called the Kree that have taken a population of humans, took them somewhere, and kind of experimented on them, exposing them to this gas that comes from these crystals called the Terrigen Mists. And when these genetically altered humans are exposed to this mist, they get these kind of supernatural powers. So there's basically a whole civilization full of these superpowered people, and that is supposedly what the movie's going to be about. So we are setting the stage for that in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So we're learning about those crystals, the Terrigen Mists, and now we have Daisy, who in the comic books was given her powers because her father and whatever, but here they're making her an Inhuman as a way to learn about this culture before the movie comes out. So it's a really smart move, so that we have a couple years to get to know them, learn about them, and maybe the movie is their pilgrimage to this civilization where they've been kind of living for a long, long time. So where the show is going now. There was a character teased at the very end of the episode that does not have eyes. And there's two Inhuman characters that kind of line up with that. The first one is a relatively new character called the Reader, who he has eyes, but his ability was that anything he reads about, he can make a reality. And the Inhuman civilization thought that was too powerful, so they removed his eyes. But now he carries around kind of a book of Braille, and he can read things and make them happen, so he does that. But they thought he was too powerful. So this might be a character like that. The second character is another really minor Inhuman called Venomous. Venomous has kind of these stalks with eyes, and he can kind of attach them to other people and read their thoughts and memories. Not a lot on this character, and those stalks probably would not work in a live-action TV show. So this might be their way of, maybe he just does not have eyes and can touch people or something. So those are two characters that happen to be Inhumans that happen to have some sort of eye-related thing. So we'll see which one it is. But it looks like there are Inhumans living on Earth. And maybe the second half of the season is going to be maybe Daisy or Skye learning about this civilization and kind of finding out that there are people with powers on Earth. So that's basically what happened. So in the span of an episode, we went from a team of kind of all human characters, and now we realize that our lead heroine is now a superpowered hero named Quake from the comic books. She was an Avenger a couple times. She works with them, at least. A dedicated agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. A couple very notable moments in her comic history. And now we have something kind of upping the stakes. We also might see some potential villain storylines with the Doctor if he does continue to go the route of becoming Mr. Hyde. And then we also have this eyeless man that might lead into a whole civilization of Inhumans maybe living on Earth. I predict that the show will kind of create this Earth story, but I think Adelon, the city of the Inhumans, is not on Earth, and I think they're going to venture there, but it takes a few years to learn about them and whatever. So maybe Skye will go to Adelon, maybe Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, if they are treated as Inhumans in the movies. We might have those pre-existing characters to introduce us to the cast of the Inhumans. So that's basically what happened. I think it's a cool move. I think it balances. Quake's not going to be super powerful. There's not going to be a lot of visual effects, but it's enough that it gives the show a little something else. So have you been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Hopefully so if you got to this point in the video. But I'm really excited about where it could go. I think the Inhumans is a really cool idea, and I'm glad that this is the route they're going. It makes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. feel like a much more important show, that if you want to be up with what the movies are talking about and what's happening in the MCU, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a really important part of that. So, what do you think? I'm excited. I'll see you next time.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is